All right, it is Monday, June 22nd, and this is the first episode of a show that you can consider it untitled for now. I will have an official title, but I'm not going to force it, so just consider this episode one. All right, so this show, or you could call it a podcast, isn't necessarily going to function like other shows or podcasts in the sense that I'm not going to do streaming where there's a camera on me and you see me as I react to things, which I will be reacting to on the show. Not because it's not something I'm ever willing to do. It's just not something that I'm going to do right now. It's going to be just a smoother, easier process if I go about things where it's podcast format where you hear me but you don't see me. It's just going to allow me to move more easy, kind of get these episodes done at a more efficient pace. So with that said, I'll give my insights. I'll react to everything that has to do with spirituality, awakening, psychology. And this isn't just going to be videos, though videos will be a part of it. In fact, videos might not be even half of it. Videos might be a minority of what I react to. I'll react to videos, audio, articles, blurbs, insights, phrases in books. I'll recount whatever I think is relevant from my past or my experience on this journey up to this point. And I see myself at this point as someone who's really about this life in terms of his own internal advancement, his own spiritual journey. Of course, I don't like to spend too much time on myself and what I'm doing in particular, or even holding myself up at a certain level, because ultimately this journey isn't about an identity or being able to call yourself spiritual or advanced or enlightened or anything like that. I made the decision over 6 years ago to take this journey, made a commitment to this for a lifetime, for peace, infinite peace, the deepest peace. That's everything to me. I put that above everything. And what's happened over the last six plus years is the impact has seeped into everything else. So it has done so much to better my life, but I have such a long way to go. But I am in an amazing place internally, and as has been expressed in other videos and as will be expressed, it's had a profound impact. It's been a wonderful thing to experience. It's been wonderful to inhabit this body and this mind as this transformation within me has been happening, because it's not just the external that gets transformed, it's internal. I interface with everything in so much of a healthier way. I'm far more of a benefit to others in terms of just when I'm present, and what I say, and what I talk about, how I am. I'm more of a positive force. I can feel that. And people who are around me, consequently, are more of a positive force in my direction. So I think that's pretty dope. But with that said, let's get going. This is me getting my sea legs under me. I think I'll be able to do this well enough, because a lot of this information that I'll be reacting to are insights I'll be giving. And I'm not new to it. Like I said, I've been on this journey for over 6 years, so I do have information to give, and I could give pretty interesting and often accurate, sometimes inaccurate assessments of what I'm reacting to, but I understand it comes from a true place in terms of how I react and what I say and why I say it. It's coming from a true place, it's coming from a deep place. So, with that said, this blurb, and of course, what I react to, of course, always want to make sure I give credit to what I'm reacting to or what I'm reading. I'm not going to take credit for something as if it's my own, if I'm reacting to it, or if I'm reading something online off a site or something, which I'm about to do. So, actualize.org by Leo Gura, Leo Gura, who is a YouTuber who puts on videos about actualizing human psychology, spirituality. He has a website, a blog, and he puts countless insights that he has on this blog. So, what I think is, first, it would be great for this show that I'm doing, but also great in terms of just almost showing an appreciation for what Leo's doing on his blog, is highlighting some of these insights he puts up and what he speaks about, because he says a lot on this site and there's a lot of people that are not up to it. So I could shine a little more light on what he's saying on his blog by speaking on some of these insights here on this program. So let's get going. This is a quote from his website, Actualized Quotes, number 609. This is from May 24, 2026. I'm not necessarily going to do it based on what's the newest. As far as what he's put up, I'll be choosing at random. So, like I said, today we're going to start with Actualized Quote number 609. May 24, 2026 is when Leo Gura posted this. Every substance is imaginary. Whether something is made of atoms, wood, glass, metal, or cheese, or unicorns is completely imaginary. You can become so conscious that you will realize your body is made of unicorns as much as atoms or anything else. Everything is made out of everything. Everything contains everything. Everything is everything. You are literally made out of unicorns. You just aren't conscious of it. When you can look at your hands and see they are made out of unicorns, you know God. The difference between atoms and unicorns is imaginary. This is more true than all of science. All right, let's go ahead and read through that once more. I agree. I do agree everything is imaginary, but we're going to read through that once more in case there's anyone that wants to hear it again and kind of take it in. But every substance is imaginary. Whether something is made out of atoms, wood, glass, metal, or cheese, or unicorns is completely imaginary. You can become so conscious that you will realize your body is made of unicorns as much as atoms or anything else. Everything is made out of everything. Everything contains everything. Everything is everything. You are literally made out of unicorns. You just aren't conscious of it. When you can look at your hands and see they are made out of unicorns, you know God. The difference between atoms and unicorns is imaginary. This is more true than all of science. And that's the thing about truth. It is something that predates anything you have a conception of, an idea about. Your physical body, of course. It is something you can become directly conscious of, and you put real time into this work, you will become directly conscious of it. You'll start to feel everything as not just a part of you, but you'll start to feel I guess you could say the ephemeral nature of things. That's what you're going to start to feel as you raise your consciousness. So whereas everything has everything has a strong label to it, and there's just a strong connotation, if you want to say, not in the sense of a connotation of deep emotion, but a deep reference point in terms of when you look at a door, in terms of when you look at a doorknob or a bike or a TV or a tree. You see a tree, that's a physical thing that grows out of the ground. You see a door, you open and close it. That is a door, that's a door to my house, it's a door to my apartment. You get to a point where the automatic, the habits, the instinctual nature of seeing something as a door and just label it in your mind, split second it's a door, or split second it's a bike, split second that's the wall, that goes away. And then you start to see everything as just there, as just being. And when this starts to happen, you start to feel it as also a part of you. So this is when you start getting this sense of things being imaginary and everything being everything. All right, it's to the person who hasn't put a minute into this work, or well, even the people who put time to this work, but the people who haven't really advanced, that sounds crazy, uninteresting because it doesn't really sound valid. There's no reason for it to really mean anything to them. But it's hard to fathom how everything can be imaginary. Your mind, your whole sense of existence is tailored toward the idea of things being real and of things having physical substance. But that idea of things having physical substance is just a concept. It's a concept. It's a figment of your own imagination. But of course, your imagination draws from infinite imagination, which is derived from infinite intelligence. And if something can come from a place that is infinite, if there is infinite, which there is, if there's infinite imagination derived from infinite intelligence, then it means you can go infinitely deep in terms of your ability to make something seem real, even if it is imaginary. You're imagining the realness. Your imagination is so strong, it can imagine realness. It can imagine something being real. It can imagine that a thing is nothing other than real. It can imagine that the idea that things are imaginary is a fiction, and it can make that fiction in your mind seem so legit that it is in fact a fiction that you don't even question that it's a fiction. Okay? Because your imagination, which really stems from infinite intelligence, which it is just unfathomably strong. So everything is indeed imaginary. And even just the physicality you sense with your own body is imaginary. You can develop yourself to a point where, though you'll get more and more in touch with your body, you're going to feel it more as this. You'll feel it more as this, as a spiritual conduit to, or how do I say, a spiritual vessel to interface with the world. That's how you'll start to identify or connect with your body. It's as a spiritual vessel to interface with the world, and a conduit for infinite intelligence and infinite love, because it can get expressed better through you the more that you do advance. So that's what I have to say about that first insight right there. And let's see. Okay. So this is, I feel that's a pretty good, that's obviously a dope insight. Leo says he has hundreds of these. And that's the thing about it. When you do this work, you get more insights. They do come to you throughout the day. And it's amazing. It's just your mind expands. And when I'm talking about the work, what work am I talking about? Well, consciousness work. So, meditation, meditative yoga, There's people that embrace the idea of, psychedelics to assist in their awakening. And though I don't do psychedelics, I haven't found a need. I don't judge anyone who does use psychedelics. I think there is an inherent danger. I think the thing with psychedelics is you can do a psychedelic in order to gain spiritual awakening, in order to help you on your journey. And I believe you can have such a radical experience, so mind-blowing, that when you come back down to earth, which you inevitably will, the idea of spending hours sitting in meditation or doing meditative yoga, it just is not as appealing to you. It doesn't pull at you in the same way. It's like, why would I do this to, put all these hours in to gain an awakening when I could just pop a psychedelic and go back? But that thing about the psychedelic is the impact of the psychedelic is not something that's what you feel when you take the psychedelic is not something that's going to be, it doesn't have permanence. It's not going to be permanently within you. It's not going to become your baseline. You see, when you do work, when you put real-time into consciousness work, your progress, how you progress internally, well, it becomes, you get new baselines. Like right now, your baseline is, if you haven't done any consciousness work, your baseline is physical reality. That's what reality is. I'm a physical being. Everything's physical. The world is outside of myself. Things are separate. Even if you intellectually see things or feel that things are one, for the most part, if you haven't really put real time into this work, you don't really feel things as one. That's not how your mind's really interpreting it. You're still interpreting your outside reality as being an outside reality, something that's outside of yourself. So what you get when you put real time into the work is, instead of a sense of oneness that's dependent on the psychedelic that goes away when the psychedelic wears off, what you get is a sense of oneness that's embedded within you. There's a permanence that comes with the sense of oneness. Of course, this takes thousands and thousands of hours of work. That's just what it is. And yeah, I'm I'm thousands and thousands of hours into this. So, hey man, a lot of time in, and I could still do a lot better. I can be more effective with my routine, but I put multiple hours in every day, and I don't miss days, and that's what it is. So, and let me emphasize that point. I never miss a day when it comes to consciousness work. Ever, 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 ever. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Okay. Hey, you want to hear something pretty a quote that you consider pretty extreme for a quote, but nonetheless something deep and worth pondering. Let's go ahead and read actualized quotes number 608. This is from May 24th, 2026. Imagine how it would feel if you were being murdered alive with a knife. Imagine the experience of it precisely as realistically as possible. Do it. This is real spirituality. Modern humans have become so comfortable they forget how serious life is. Yeah, life is dead serious. The thing is, I say that from a perspective of someone that feels this perpetual sense of ease day to day. I'm really not kidding. I'm not kidding. It's deep, man. It's deep. A lot of time has gone into this work, so there's been hell to pay to get to this point. But I don't really feel anger anymore. I don't think I do. I don't think it gets really beyond. I don't think it gets beyond frustration for me. I have to think back to when I was angry about a thing. It's like really angry about a thing. I mildly frustrated is how I may get about something. Now, what I'll do though, I have a couple of daughters. So what I'll do with my daughters is, mainly my younger one, who's 7 years old right now, is if she's doing something and not really understanding what I'm saying to her, or taking it seriously, I should say, she'll understand, but not taking it seriously in terms of something bad or just dangerous or just not healthy, whatever that she's doing. I'll express anger. I'll make myself seem angrier than I am to get the message through. But really, it's not really that angry. And the thing about it is, it's something I have to make. It's like I have to make myself, I have to kind of ratchet up the type of angry energy, if you will, to make myself seem upset enough to get her to get the message of whatever I'm trying to convey to her. That's what it is right now, because there's just this perpetual state of ease. I'm constantly in this place of ease. And I don't want to get it. I don't want to misconstrue it, because there's still a lot of work to be done, and I wouldn't consider myself awake, at least not in like a complete sense. Even though I think this is a lifetime thing, so you never really get to the end point of awakening. But in terms of where I would say I'm an awakened human being, I am enlightened. No, I don't put that on myself, or at least I'm not going to put that out there about myself. I would leave it up to other people to decide, because once I start doing that, it just becomes too much about. It turns into the identity of being an enlightened person, which I don't think is good or helpful. If I get caught up in that, I don't want, ultimately the goal is to be helpful, not to build myself up into something. So, but in terms of, you imagine being murdered alive with a knife. Oh man, yeah, that would be, that's a brutal thing to imagine. That's not, I mean, everyone's imagined something bad happening to themselves at one point or another, I'm sure. But yeah, that's, I think one of the things central to this quote is that the idea that humans are just, it's hard for them to be uncomfortable. They're unwilling to be uncomfortable for the sake of spirituality. But really, when it comes to humans, most humans are not, the vast overwhelming majority of humans have no real interest in spirituality or spiritual growth or internal advancement. It's just not a thing. So yeah, my life is serious, but my assessment is, you want to advance yourself internally to the point where life doesn't have to feel so serious. But you have to do it in a genuine way where you don't want to, if you don't do the work on yourself and then you're like, nah, life is not serious, there's going to be a lot of unconscious issues that will be dredged up in one way or another, whether it's in your external reality or internal reality, and things will end up messed up for you anyway, because on the surface, or consciously, you can just tell yourself, surface level, things are not that serious and it's all good, it's all good, it's all good. But you can't really feel the idea of it being all good unless you do the internal work, because you can develop yourself to a point where things really do feel like they're all good. Like it's all good, and it'll be in a healthy way. It'll be in a way that's aligned and helps to organize your external reality and bring about physical manifestations, outcomes that are wonderful, that are favorable to you. But this deal in terms of not taking life too serious has to come from a place that isn't surface level, or it's going to be extremely counterproductive. It'll essentially be delusional. So, something to keep in mind. But once again, that's actualized quote number 608 from May 24th, 2026. Leo Gura wrote this, and he has his channel actualized on YouTube. So he has an incredible catalog. I've watched so many of his videos. So there's a lot of amazing. He has the best content online, period. Not even just YouTube, online, period. I mean, let me give this dude his flowers. Best content, bar none. That's just the end of it. So, not a debate. Anyway, gonna move on from this quote and talk about in terms of what's possible for a human being. Well, peace is real. Peace is what's possible internally. I want to say that first because that's what matters. But things like cities, I believe are real. I feel these are real. Though I haven't gained any cities that are at a level where we weren't saying anything, still, I don't think there's any limits to what a human being can do. After all, this is a mental reality. So I do think things such as levitation and teleportation and being able to manipulate matter with your mind, make it float, telekinesis, read minds, telepathy. I feel all of that is real. I have read things about it. So that's where the human mind can advance to, but that is so beyond where the average human being is. That's just it's might as well just be vapors, might as well be nothing more than just a figment. Consider for a split second, it'd be cool to fly, and then never think of it again, because that's all it is to the average human being. It's not something that they would ever get remotely close to thinking could be real. Unless, of course, they advance enough, then all of a sudden, a lot of things that seem impossible and unreal now suddenly seem possible and real. It is up to the individual. Let's see, what's so there's many interviews and clips, people talking about psychedelics and their experiences and trips on YouTube, and react to something. I'm gonna be careful. Not everyone who even talks about the subject, who says anything about it on YouTube, I want to give attention. Certain people, I feel like if I mention their name, or I react to a video of theirs, it's not going to do any good, because it's not going to be helpful, because it's going to bring legitimacy to a name that doesn't deserve it, because maybe they have a clip of good content, but majority of the time, or overall what they're putting out is not helpful to people. So certain names I do want to be careful not to highlight. But it just depends. It depends on who it is and just the context. There are exceptions where someone who I think does maybe put out some BS, I may highlight a video or talk about it because they put out enough good, or for one reason or another, I don't think it'll have negative consequence. Let's see. All right, we're gonna listen to Alan Watts. All right, so let's get it.
Wabi-sabi. When you find the world is imperfect, do not struggle against it. Awaken to the beauty already there.
The Tao is that from...
Oh, and I want to say this is a video titled "I Wasted Decades Trying to Control Everything Before Alan Watts Explained This in 10 Minutes." So that's the title of the video. From T&H, Inspiration and Motivation. Let's go ahead and react to this. So let's do it. Give me a second here.
Against it. Awaken to the beauty already there.
That's an ebook they're promoting.
The Tao is that from which nothing can depart.
Or just a book. I don't know if it's an ebook.
Fundamentally, you see, you can't get away from it. It's like a situation in which we are all floating in a tremendous river. And the river carries you along, anyhow. Now, some of the people in the river are swimming against it, but they're still being carried along. Others have learned that the art of the thing is to swim with it, and they're carried along too. But they know it, you see. They know they're carried along, whereas the people who are swimming against it think they're going in the opposite direction. But they're not really. You have to flow with the river. There is no other way but that you can swim against it and pretend not to be flowing with it, but you still are. But a person who is not making that pretense anymore, who knows that you have to go with the river and swim with it, suddenly he acquires behind everything that he does the power of the river. The person swimming against the river, you see, does not by his action express the force of the river.
And yes, I can attest to that. That river, that's truth. That peace that I've gotten connected to, that I am connected to and am deepening every day, that peace is representative of the river. That peace is the Tao. That peace is that infinite force that it brings this great power with it. Now, granted, I've barely scratched the surface. This is the tip of the iceberg. So how I speak about things now, what I'm speaking about, it's going to get so much deeper. A year from now, I'll be speaking from an entirely different place. And I'm speaking from a much different place than I would have been speaking from a couple of years ago. So, yes, indeed, you gain the power of the river when you connect with it. But here's the thing about it. I don't think it's and Alan Watts, I haven't really heard him get into this, but I don't think it's as simple as just, okay, there's a river I got to line with and I get to force the river. You have to do the work to, the internal work to be able to get out of your own way and flow with this river that Alan Watts is speaking about. You have to do the internal work. You have to take the internal work seriously. All right, let's continue.
The person swimming with it, he goes along and he has that whole river behind him, but he's subtly directing it, because you can change direction in the course of the river. You can go to the left or to the right, as a ship can use a rudder, still go along with the current, as a sailboat can tack. When a sailboat tacks and goes in a direction contrary to the wind, it still is using the wind to blow it along. Now that is the most highly skillful art of all. That is Taoism in perfection, the art of sailing. So the whole thing is, you see, to operate in the world as if you were absent. Now, this is built into us physiologically, fundamentally. Let me ask you simply, what is the color of your head from the standpoint of your eyes? Your eyes don't see your head, do they? You look all around, you see everything else, but your head you don't see. So, in this sense, the invisibility of one's head, almost the not having of any head at all, is the secret of being alive. To be headless, you might say, to have no head, in just the sense I'm talking about, is our way of talking about the Chinese expression, mushen, no mind. Now, as a matter of fact, if you want to see the inside of your head, all you have to do is keep your eyes open. Because everything that you're experiencing in the external visual field is a state of your brain. All these colors and shapes are the way in which the brain nerves translate the electrical impulses in the external world, being the world outside the envelope of skin. You think your head is a blank, but actually, it's being a blank. You don't see your brain as an external, undulating, corrugated structure. You see your brain as everything outside. This is fundamental Taoist idea of being absent as the condition of being present. Zhuangzi says, when your belt is comfortable, you don't feel it. When your shoes are comfortable, it is as if you weren't wearing any. The more you are aware of these things, the less properly they are made, or the less properly they fit. But
and that's the thing, we zoom in on things we become conscious of, and we essentially create the imperfection in them. You might look at yourself in the mirror, it may be something with your nose, your eyes, your teeth, maybe something with a myriad of things, but you feel a level of imperfection because you're hyper-focused on it, and it's possible to get your mind to the point where you feel comfortable and good with everything. I don't claim to be there, so as far as I've come, as I said, there's a lot of work for me to do still, but in terms of just, there's truth, it's, you're not, the belt's comfortable, feel it, you start noticing the belt, you start to notice discomfort, but it's possible in terms of with your life to get beyond all these things that make you uncomfortable. And consequently, these things automatically shift in such a way where they're almost tailor made to your comfort. This is what happens when your internal and your external align in the ideal way. That's another reason why you won't run into what's uncomfortable past a certain level of advancement, because your whole outer reality has become considerably more comfortable because there's been a certain amount of work that you've done in yourself. But let me continue.
You raise an objection to this. Very simple objection. If I don't know I'm there, I seem to be missing everything. We want to know that we know. If we're happy and we don't know we're happy, we might just as well not be happy. To be happy and to know that you're happy is really the overflowing of the cup of life. Of course, the penalty for that is to be miserable and to know that you're miserable. Some people are miserable without knowing it. Now, this is the great human predicament. The development of self-consciousness, the development...
By the way, it's my assessment that happiness really isn't the root of... Happiness isn't what you want, and happiness isn't necessarily real, not in the way that people think of it. From my experience, you have peace. You get peace first, and then you experience happiness. You have peace, you experience happiness, and then you constantly experience happiness. But this stems from a place of peace. You have to get to the peace first to get what you would consider real happiness. But really, that happiness is coming from a place of peace, like genuine peace. A deep peace results in happiness, genuine, actual happiness. Happiness that's more than just a high that you feel is fleeting and you're afraid of it going away. That happiness that you know is right around the corner and it'll come back and it'll be there. You'll experience the high again and you can rely upon it. That would stem from a place of peace, but you have to have peace for that. Otherwise, you become very dependent on those highs, those quote-unquote happy moments. You get beyond ever having to depend or look for those happy moments if you have peace. Because whether you're on a high or not, if you have a deep internal peace, then you always have peace. And even knowing you have that peace is gonna have you feeling quite happy about it, I would say. Let me continue.
Of the possibility of the development of self-consciousness, the development of the possibility of reflecting upon one's own knowledge. And this is simultaneously a blessing and a curse. And Taoism does not escape this problem. I mean, it doesn't avoid this problem, it deals with it. But it doesn't deal with it obviously. So we get back to this fundamental verse about the nature of De. What is highly virtuous is a virtue that is not conscious of itself as virtue. The moment it's conscious of itself as such, you see, it fails.
And the way to think of the Tao is as source, as God, as everything, as the undercurrent of your life. What in actuality governs everything in existence. Think of that as the Tao, as this unlimited, indescribable, amorphous, formless entity. It's not really an entity that moves around and through everything and has its own predetermined current and direction. That's what the Tao is.
So, in this way, we love to see a child dancing all by itself, lost in the dance, and not performing for an audience. We say, oh, if only I could dance like that. If only I could become like a child again, innocent. But then soon we know when parents notice how beautifully a child dances, and they all approve of it and say to this child, dance for us. The child begins to lose this power, and it puts on airs, it knows it's noticed. And we don't like that. So that's affectation, that's showing off, that's phony. What we want you to do is to dance as if you had no audience, not even yourself. Which of course puts the child in a double bind, because it says to the child, we require you to do something that will be acceptable only if you do it as if it wasn't required. We do that all the time to our children, to each other. You must love me. After all, you promised to do so when we got married, didn't you? And so on. So, this is the difficulty. But somehow, a very great artist, in the maturity of his life, somehow is able, at least to give the impression that he does what he does without playing to the gallery, without self-consciousness. It seems perfectly natural. So how does he get there? There was a Taoist sage, his name was Leo Gura, and he had a reputation for being able to ride on the wind. So light. Zhuangzi says in one place, it's easy enough to stand still. The difficulty is to walk without touching the ground. Because in the state of being in accord with the Tao, there is a certain feeling of weightlessness, parallel to the weightlessness that people feel when they get into outer space or when they go deep into the ocean. This is, of course, connected with the sensation that you're not carrying your body around. I described this morning the sensation that an expert driver has when he really is with it in a car, that the hill lifts him up and drops him down the other side, that he and the road
I'm gonna
are all one
rewind a few
process.
seconds.
And that's equivalent to the sense of
Kind of got
weightlessness.
distracted with
Those are
something.
all-
Let's
that
give it, gotta go back a few
This
seconds.
is, of course, connected, or when they go deep into the ocean. This is, of course, connected with the sensation that you're not carrying your body around. I described this morning the sensation that an expert driver has when he really is with it in a car.
It's like you're floating. He's talking about this sense of floating and just this ease of walking and just this. I have stretches, man, where I feel like I could walk all day, man. I could walk all day. You know, I could walk and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. Even when it's hot outside, even when I've been walking for a while. And it's just this energy that is with me now that wasn't with me when I was in my teens, in my early 20s. Wasn't with me in my late 20s. So, yeah, man, it's something else, man.
That the hill lifts him up and drops him down the other side, that he and the road are all one process. And that's equivalent to the sense of weightlessness. And so this is connected to, this is the inner meaning of Lietza riding on the wind. When Suzuki was asked, what is it like to have Satori? He said, it's just like ordinary everyday experience, except about 2 inches off the ground. And so we say in our own songs, walking on it.
That's beautiful. I want to listen to that part again. Forgive me, going back a few seconds.
About 2 inches, what is it like to have? And so this is connected to, this is the inner meaning of Lietza riding on the wind. When Suzuki was asked, what is it like to have Satori? He said, it's just like ordinary everyday experience, except about 2 inches off the ground.
That's beautiful. What is it like to have Satori? Suzuki was asked, and he says it's just like everyday experience, except for 2 inches off the ground. Like I said, like that feeling of floating. But you have to understand that the thing is, it really isn't like everyday experience. It is, but it isn't. It isn't at all in the sense of just there's a magic that overtakes everything when you become connected. You know, it's funny. I'm recording this now, and I'm like feeling this heightened state recording this now. Remember, my baseline is a place of peace day to day. That's what it is. I'm not saying it's this. It's at its deepest, most ideal level, but there's a steadiness that's always there in terms of the peace. Now, yes, I still have the internal issues that I'm working on where I consider it not in its perfect place in terms of where that peace could be. But what I'm talking about now is like there's just this higher sense of things, this higher sensation. It's just high I'm experiencing as I'm recording this, you know. This is wonderful, but you get experiences like these so much more often when you have a level of steady peace as your baseline. It may make sense to some, it may not. If you've done this work extensively, or if you do this work extensively, you'll come to know what I mean one day. All right, let me continue.
And so we say in our own songs, walking on air, never a care, something is making me sing, tra-la-la-la, like a little bird in spring.
Okay. What we're going to do is, that's the end of that video, by the way. That's, love Alan Watts, man. Now, I don't listen to him too often, but when I do listen to him, I appreciate it. I just appreciate everything he says. And what he says now, it actually resonates so much more just based on my own, at the place I'm at today. It resonates so much more because if I hadn't made it to the point I'm at today, as much as it would hit, it just wouldn't hit the same. Even though Alan Watts has always hit, what he says is profound. Okay, it's always had its level of weight behind it. So what I want to do is I do almost. Let me. That was the one I just watched. I wasted decades trying to control everything before Alan Watts explained this in 10 minutes. I could put another clip on or react to something else. But look, it's a floating, man. You can float. You can float through life. You do have to commit to this work, and no, not just 20 minutes a day. You could start with 20 minutes a day. You could start with 2 minutes a day. All right, but you need to be committed, for a lifetime. Not because it's going to take a lifetime to become enlightened, to become awakened, to achieve peace. No, but that commitment in itself provides you the tool to be able to achieve peace. That's what the lifetime commitment does, because it takes away your ability to quit, to stop. And that's key. You can't stop. And if you don't stop, you'll get more comfortable with the work. You'll get better at the work. You'll be able to do the work for a more extended amount of time. And the work will become more and more consequential as a result. So you make a lifetime commitment to your peace And peace, I feel, is everything. It's worth going through hell and back to achieve peace, but actual peace. You're not going to achieve it. You're not going to gain peace from money, from just achievements, celebrity. No, this peace is something deeper than that. Peace is something you can have 24/7, whether you're rich and knowing or poor and anonymous, or we'll just say unknown. I'm twirling a pin on my fingers right now, just looking at it, kind of just in this good place right now. This is a good place. This is a good place. All right, let me put on. I want to do another one. We're gonna do another one. Give Alan Watts some more shine. So let's go.
When we say to ourselves, you must go on, the reason is, you see, that we are not living in the eternal now, where reality is. We are always thinking that the satisfaction of life will be coming later. Don't kid yourself. Only suckers put hope in the future. There isn't much of a future. You're going to die. So, therefore, this hope for the future is a hoax. It's a perfect hoax. Because you're not fully alive now, you think maybe someday you will be. Look, supposing I ask you, what did you do yesterday? Most people will say, well, I got up at 7:30 and I brushed my teeth and I read the newspaper over a cup of coffee, and then I looked at the clock and dressed and got in the car and drove downtown and did this and that in the office and so on, and you go on and on and on, and you suddenly discover that what you've described has absolutely nothing to do with what happened. You've described a fleshless list of abstractions, whereas if you were actually aware of what went on, you could never describe it. Because nature is multidimensional. Language is linear. Language is scrawny. And therefore, if you identify the world as it is with the way the world is described, it's as if you were trying to eat dollar bills and expect a nutritious diet. Or eat numbers. A lot of people eat numbers. People play the stock market. They're doing nothing but eating numbers. And they're always unhappy. Absolutely miserable. Because they never get anything. So, therefore, they always hope more is coming. Because they believe that if they eat enough dollar bills, eventually something satisfactory will happen. So, eating the abstractions all the time, we want more time. Confucius very wisely said, a man who understands the Tao in the morning may die with content in the evening. Because when you understand, you don't put your hope in time.
That's the thing too with this work, and as you advance, is your sleep gets so good. It gets so good. Like you just sleep deeper, you're more rested. Now, during this work, you're going to deal with a lot of ego backlash and stretches where maybe you're not able to sleep, or you're more tired than you want to be during the day, which, as I said, is the result of ego backlash. But boy, there's a point you reach where sleep becomes so good. It's just sleep and the naps because there's people that are not, big on naps. I don't think there's anything wrong with naps. You get a quick 20, 30-minute nap in, and it could do wonders, and you can go about your day and handle your business. But yeah, the sleep just gets better, and you don't need as much of it because it's so deep and restful as a consequence of this work. Because your mind is just so much more at ease. Your mind is there's just so much less junk cluttering your mind, and that makes all the difference in the world when it comes to being able to get a good sleep. So that's another benefit of this work of developing yourself, of growing your consciousness.
Time won't solve a thing. And the Christian word for sinning in Greek is amatanin, which means to miss the point. And the point is eternal life, which is here and now. But until there is silence of the mind, it is almost impossible to understand. Eternal.
And this video, by the way, the title of this video is "It Will Give You Goosebumps," Alan Watts on the Eternal Now. All right, let's keep going.
Life, that is to say, eternal now. When you are fully aware and not thinking, you will notice some amazing absences. There is no past. Can you hear anything past, incidentally? Can you hear anything future? They're just not there to the plain sense of one's ears. Well, I remember in the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus said a lot of things about this. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet Suleiman in all his glory was not clothed like one of these. And if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, faithless ones? Wow. So, do not worry about tomorrow, saying, what shall we eat, what shall we drink, or how shall we clothe ourselves? Oh, the rabble seeks after these things. Sufficient to the day is the worry of it. Nobody ever preaches a sermon on that text. Never. I've heard lots of sermons. And never one on that one. Because people say, look, that's all very well, because Jesus was the boss's son. And he knew, you see, that he was really in charge of the universe. And he's nothing to worry about. But we have to be practical. Oh? What do you suppose the gospel was? The good news. Do you know it never got out? You too are the boss's son. That was the gospel. Lots of people in India know that perfectly well. When you get to be a certain age, and after you've studied long enough with a certain guru, then, and then only, may you realize this. If you've put in the time, they finally let you in. Here you have to wait until you're dead. The only place to begin is now. Because here's where we are. So why put it off? A lot of people say, well, I'm not ready. What do you mean you're not ready? What do you have to be ready? I'm not good enough. I'm perhaps not old enough, not mature enough, still am frightened of pain. I'm still dependent on material things. I have to, eat a lot, drink a lot, and I better get all that under control first. Oh? Huh. You ought to be able to congratulate yourself for having gone through the discipline which is rewarded with realization. That is trying to quench fire with fire. Wouldn't it be great to have no fear? No attachments, no hang-ups. To be as free as the air.
Yeah, it's that freedom. It's a real thing. You can have this permanently. And it's funny, I don't drink. I used to drink, how long ago at this point? 5 years ago about, I used to drink. I mean, last time I drank was 2 years ago, but prior to that, it was 3 years. And then, so in total, it's been like, I drank one day out of the last five years, I believe. But that's besides the point. In terms of the drinking, in terms of cigarettes, in terms of all these external attachments, this is all an attempt to be free in our own way. We may not consciously think of it as such, but these represent our unconscious moves to be free. And I want you to know that you can be free and beyond needing any of this. So, and you can get to the point of not even needing a cup of coffee or an energy drink, and I'm not beyond caffeine yet, but I'm not in need of it in the same way. Like even starting this morning, I had like this drink, a Crystal Light drink that has the 60 milligrams of I think it's 60 milligrams of caffeine or whatever the case is. Those Crystal Lights are pretty good, but normally if I'm doing caffeine, 60 milligrams is not it's the smallest jolt. It doesn't even really make much of a difference to me at all. I could have just as easily drank something that had no caffeine in it. I'm saying that to say that even though I still do drink caffeine, 200 milligrams or more, I will do that. Like this morning, 60 milligrams, that's what I had in my place, and I've still been able to do this whole show, and I hadn't gone and drank, any actually a real amount of caffeine as of yet. And it's not an issue for me to go without caffeine. I can choose not to do it, and I can function just fine and even quite well. I say that to let you know that you can get to the point where you don't have the dependence, okay? Because when it comes to caffeine, for a lot of people, it's a dependence, you need it. In terms of caffeine, I don't need it. Now, I prefer it, so I will drink caffeine. I'm not completely done with caffeine up to this point. But there is a difference. Years ago, I needed caffeine. Today, a day like this, I couldn't function or really be able to be effective at all with less than 150, 200 milligrams. Right now it's 60 milligrams, which is more just a consequence of happening to have that drink and not, so it's in my system, but even if I didn't have my system, you wouldn't really notice a difference with the show. But enough of the coffee stuff. I'm just saying freedom, which everyone's looking for with the liquor and the cigarettes and the partying and entertainment, and you're trying to escape your mind and be free. You can reach a permanent, locked in sense of freedom. It's yours to have. but you have to make a lifetime commitment, as I talked about earlier. And everybody can get, to awakening in their own way, do their own techniques, have their own methodology, but first and foremost, you need the commitment. You need to be serious, as Kapil Gupta says. And we'll talk more about Kapil Gupta in future videos, but let me continue.
Wouldn't it be crazy to have that courage? And you look into yourself honestly, and you find that inside you're actually a quaking mess of sensitivity, running away from the quaking mess, escaping. You never can. There's nothing you can actually do to transform your own nature into unattached selflessness, because you have a selfish reason for wanting to do it. What does it mean that you can't do anything about it? It's singing loud and clear. The reason you can't do anything about it is that you don't exist. You, as you conceive yourself to be, that is your ego, your image of yourself, isn't there. It doesn't exist. It's an abstraction. Well, when you understand that, you're liberated. There's the happening, the suchness, yes, sure, you bet. But it's not pushing you around, because there's no you to be pushed around. So, this illusion of the persecuted ego who is pushed around by fate, it's altogether disappeared. And so, likewise, the illusion of the ego who pushes fate around has also disappeared. There's a happening. By dying to yourself, by having become completely incompetent and found that you don't exist, you're reborn. You become everything. In the words of Sir Edwin Arnold, foregoing self, the universe grows I.
Foregoing self, the universe grows I. Wow. That's the end of that video. Obviously profound words from Alan Watts. And it's crazy with Alan Watts, right? Because he's so brilliant, yet I believe he was an alcoholic. It's crazy. Some of the people who give the most profound advice still have the issues that they do. It perplexes me. So this is, I'm going to go ahead and bring it to an end right here. About an hour, 15 minutes into this. This has been fun. This is something I am going to do a lot more of. This is going to become essentially the staple of the show. This will be central. I said central. This is going to become a staple of the channel. This is going to be central to what I do on the channel. Though clips like you've seen in the past, videos like you've seen in the past, shorts and stuff, I mean, you may still see some of those popping up, and that's what I'll probably continue to do that to some extent or another. But this right here, how I did this show, will be central to what the show is going to be in the future. I find it more true, and I find it, I think I can offer so much more doing it in this format. So this is going to become the new norm. So with that said, peace at all cost. You have to get peace at all cost. Pretty much make sure, of course, make sure that you can eat. If you have kids, make sure that your kids can eat. Don't break any laws. Don't do anything crazy. But attain peace, internal, real peace. Okay? It's yours to be had. What you're missing out on, you have no idea. You may think you do, that your mind, of course, playing a trick, you're imagining that you have a real idea of what it is, but your mind's just playing the trick of having you imagine that you know what real peace is, and that it's either not a thing or it's not worthwhile. You're tricking yourself. Don't let yourself be tricked. I'm sure there's some of you that'll get it, but I believe many of you won't, because could the peace be that good? Could it feel that good? Yes, it can. And as I've said, when it comes to myself, I barely scratch the surface. So, about to get out of here. You'll catch me soon. With that said, Will My out. Peace.